Monday, April 18th, 2022, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Today, we're going to look at how gold is totally discrediting Lord Keynes and making a comeback. And we're going to look at a couple of articles that show how gold's role in the world's monetary system has actually been making a comeback for a while under the radar. We're also going to look at the markets, of course, this morning. Markets in the UK are shut today. It's a bank holiday, Monday bank holiday. And I'm not sure about the continent in Europe, but the US is open. So all the futures are trading this morning. So back in 1923, John Maynard Keynes made that comment about gold being a barbarous relic, or the gold standard, the system. And one might argue, well, you said gold, but I think the way gold is coming back, not only, for example, in the plans of Russia, China, and what's been called now the global south, but it's also coming back into central banks of the West, like I would say the Bundesbank. I would also say the Banque of France or the Banque de France. Maybe not the Bank of England, or maybe they don't want to show that they have something up their sleeves for Britain. Yes, and I know that the Bank of England holds a lot of gold, but most of it is for their sovereign clients. It's not for the UK. UK only has 300 tons. So I've got a very interesting article here. It's an interview with, I'd never heard of the guy, but he's supposedly one of the top Russian economists. The article says that he's one of the most respected world economists. And it's from thecradle.co. And it's entitled Exclusive. Russia's Sergey Glazyev introduces the new global financial system. And it's by Pepe Escobar. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I've read it already. I'm going to put it below in the description, a link to it, and you can go through it if you want. It says the world's new monetary system, underpinned by digital currency, will be backed by a basket of new foreign currencies and natural resources, and it will liberate the global south from both Western debt and IMF-induced austerity. And this economist, Glazyev, he talks about how gold as well will help implement this new system, that gold will be an important part of it. And do I agree? Do I think it will work? A currency system for the global south based on natural resources? I'm not too sure about it. And I'm not trying to say this is a good system. I'm just trying to show you that I think the Bretton Woods post-World War II dollar system is basically gone. Well, it's still here for the West, but the rest of the world is detaching from it. And I think the crisis in Ukraine, or the war there, has been the big trigger, even though it looks like these countries like Russia, China, and the BRICS nations, even India, started looking at this possibility a few years ago, quite a few years ago. And this has just accelerated the process. And they're talking, of course, about making it more like a commodity-based monetary system, which makes sense in a way. I agree that money, as the Austrian school says, is the most marketable commodity. And that's why I have a problem a bit with a basket of commodities, because the most marketable commodity historically is gold and also silver. But the point here is that we're going to go, or those countries, the global south and Russia and China, they're going to go onto a more not debt-based system, sorry, but a commodity-based system. But actually, Sergey Glazyev admits that in Russia, there's still a lot of influence from what he calls the Washington debt-based IMF paradigm, especially at the Russian central bank. So this has also been tough for the Russians to implement. It looks like the Russian central bank still follows a very much debt-based monetary system. But I think this shows that gold is going to be very important. Also other commodities. It doesn't mean there won't be debt in Russia and all these other countries. There will be a credit market, of course, domestically for these countries, but they're trying to design a system that is supposedly fairer. And am I saying this is a good system and it is going to work? No. But it's definitely going to break up what we have today, which is the petrodollar, or the dollar, Anglo-American dollar empire. And he even notes that these countries that move over to a new system, they're going to stop buying not just dollar reserves, but he mentions euro reserves and British pound or sterling reserves. So that's going to put even more pressure on bond prices, because a lot of sovereign nations, of course, they hold their reserves in bonds or T-bills or T-notes. And less demand there is for that, the lower prices will go, and that will put upward pressure on interest rates. Yes, central banks like ECB, Fed, or BOE, and the BOJ, they could start QE again, but all that will do is weaken their currencies. It will dilute their currencies. So now to the West, another story that I saw that shows that it's not just the non-Western countries that are moving back towards maybe a fairer gold-based monetary system, but also France. So there's an article here from yesterday by Jan Neuenhuis of Gainesville Coins. I think he's a Dutchman, and he's an analyst, a gold, precious metals analyst. And he's found out that actually the Banque of France, or the Banque de France, has actually repatriated the last 9% of the gold reserves that they held outside France or Paris. He thinks they were in London because London has been the center for gold trading. And he notes that the Banque of France doesn't publish data like this. They don't tell the public what they're doing, but he found out through looking at their website at different time frames. So he says France has repatriated all its monetary gold. Central Bank of France has covertly repatriated 221 tons of gold between 2013 and 2016. Since then, all its monetary gold is stored in La Souterraine in Paris. Repatriating all gold is related to France's aim to revamp Paris as a gold trading center. So a lot of people have no clue. They think gold is useless, that it's not needed anymore. But why would one of the major economies in the world, major countries in the world, be pushing for gold trading? Well, it's because it's very important. And he also goes back to an article or a speech or a presentation given by second deputy governor of the Banque of France, Sylvie Goulard, in 2018. And it's entitled, this part of the article, Reviving Paris as a Gold Trading Center. So in the article, Jan Neuenhuis goes through what Goulard wrote about the Banque de France and their plans to upgrade the Paris gold market and make the Banque of France similar to, let's say, the Bank of England in terms of world gold trading. I won't go through that. You can go through that. I'll put a link to this article below in the description. But I thought this was an important conclusion that Jan Neuenhaus made. And he says, however it may be, France's central bank saw huge potential for gold right after 2008. So yes, it's been in the works for a while under the radar. Based on Goulard's article, my assessment is that the Banque de France expects gold's role in financial systems will increase. Why else upgrade all the French gold, overhaul the vault, set up a new IT system, and develop a full set of trading services for foreign central banks in Paris? So there you go, Lord Keynes. It looks like your dream of the abandonment of gold or a gold standard has been wrecked, actually. And you're not the only one who's talked about gold becoming a barbarous relic or the gold standard. You had even people like, what's his name? Milton Friedman, who's supposed to be a free market advocate, but who didn't really think it was a bad thing to have central banks. He said that gold was basically going to go down to its cost of mining or maybe even zero back in the 70s. So it wasn't just Lord Keynes or John Maynard Keynes who's been completely wrong about gold. It's been people like Milton Friedman as well. So with that, let's quickly look at where the markets are this morning. It's 8:20 a.m. London time. So we've got spot gold trading at 1989.70. The high's been 1991. So we're up just under 1%, up about $16. So we're quickly approaching that 2000 level again. Silver is traded up to a high of 25.97 overnight. Right now is at 25.84. It's up 0.75% or 18.5 cents. I think gold and silver continue to look very good. And as I've always said, patience is key here. And have you noticed how, despite rising yields all over the world, gold and silver are going up? So all those people who said that you had to get rid of gold and silver because interest rates and yields are going to go up, they've been proven wrong for now, I would say. The Dow futures is down 94 points or 0.25%. The NASDAQ 100 futures down 120 or 0.78%. And the S&P 500 is down 0.5% or 23 points. The FTSE 100 future is down 10 points. And the Euro Stoxx 50 is down 23 points. To the currencies, sterling is down 0.25% at 130.25. The euro is down 0.125% at 108.02. And the dollar is up slightly versus the yen at 126.50. Just wanted to touch upon the yen versus gold. XAU JPY is making an all-time high this morning at 251,725 yen. So the collapse of the yen versus money, real money, continues. The dollar is down slightly versus the yuan, 637.68. And the dollar is up slightly versus the Swiss franc at 94.35. So despite the dollar being relatively strong here, gold and silver continue to go higher. So that relationship, inverse relationship, has been pretty much negated, I would say. And looking back from 2008, when gold was at 1,000 and the dollar index was at 70. To the other currencies, Aussie dollar is down 0.4% at 73.63. The dollar is up 0.15% versus the Canadian dollar, 126.29. And the Kiwi dollar is down 1/3% at 67.33. To the general commodities, WTI crude is down 0.5%, 106.05. Brent crude is down 0.75% at 110.67. High grade copper is down 0.5% at 476.28. U.S. nat gas is up 1.5% at 7.58. So yeah, U.S. nat gas has traded quite quickly after that break of the key level of 6, I would say, and it still looks quite positive, I would say, natural gas. To finish off, we're going to look at the 10-year yield or the U.S. Treasury or bond market. So we've got the 10-year yield up almost 6 basis points, and I would say we are near the highs of the year here in terms of yield. We got up to almost 290 overnight, and right now we're at 287. The 2-year yield is up 5 basis points, just below 2.5. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please share it far and wide. Think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, and all these other platforms below here. I wish you all a great day. Take care. Bye.